Hi, and welcome to my RPGMaker MZ asset demo. This isn't a complete game. This is a proof of concept of sorts for the visuals of the game. I have several plugins. I have several maps. I have up to, I think there's 78 as of right now. So let's hit play. I will go over all of the inner workings, artwork, etc. But for now, we're just going to focus on the game. I won't need that. That's for testing. New game. I will be running through most of this because this house is massive. It would take forever otherwise. But just for demonstration purposes, here's my little guy walking around. You'll notice that there is diagonal movement. That is due to one of my plugins. I will go over all the plugins at once. There's also directional audio. That's due to another plugin. I also can stop the audio. So the diagonal movement is Galv's diagonal movement plugin. I'm using a lot of Galv visual plugins, and the directional sound is the Mush Audio Engine plugin. Let's continue. And here we have a bathroom and a save point. So all of the bathrooms are meant to be save rooms. If you look at the main menu, we cannot save from the main menu, which you'll also notice is custom. This was done in engine. This didn't use a plugin. And it should get us everywhere we need to go, but let's resume for now. Out here we have a very large hall that is the landing for the second floor. You'll notice the character is backlit. That was done with some trickery. We have this huge door over here. Let me think how we're gonna go through this. I wanted the house to be I wanted it to feel massive. I wanted it to be huge, and I wanted the player to have multiple options for navigating through it. So I'm going to start in these corners that are dead ends of sorts. We have a little greenhouse with some parallax mapping in the background. In here, we have some more parallax mapping. So technically, all of the maps are made with parallax mapping. I was using the Galv map plugin for the lighting, the shadows, but some of the maps have in-engine standard parallax maps. I'll try to point out when that happens. Let's go up through here. We have a little haunted house button trigger. There's another one here, I think. Yeah, there he is. We also have some chests. Those are also distributed through the house in order to provide helpful items to the player. And in here we have the Red Room. Some of the art is original. Most of it is famous classical works that I recreated in a pixel style. Here we have a balcony overlooking a chapel of sorts. It's to kind of hint to the player of an area that can be unlocked later on. We have a bathroom here for saving. Here we have a little office space of sorts, with more standard parallax mapping in the background. In here we have the purple bedroom. Just think about having a little guy hiding in here. We have another animated book. Oh, did I show off the books yet? Beautiful little animated book. Those would be tied to a journal system that has yet to be constructed. Let's go back through here. And we can check out that chapel from earlier, which is through these large doors. You'll notice the character has a reflection. This was done with some trickery, which I am eager to show off later on. Got a guy walking around testing his reflection. Got this big, beautiful stained glass window. I will be changing the illustration for this later on. Very subtle parallax mapping used here. We're gonna go out this way. What else we got? Got this. We've got the teal bedroom with a corresponding bathroom. And this leads out onto a balcony. A balcony that hints at an area that we can access later. There's also a secret room in here. You would get a map with coordinates that would hint that there is a room along the walls there. And oh no, it's a little unsettling, isn't it? It's a horrible little BDSM dungeon. And there seems to be a hole in the wall here. Oh no. Where could that lead? Go through here. Oh no, it's the starting area. How unnerving. There were as much as this is just a visual test demo of these assets, these character sprites, this particular art style, there was a little bit of thought put into potentially using this in a final game. And there are some storytelling elements throughout. We got a guy here. Both of these staircases lead back up to the landing, so it doesn't matter which one you go through. There are also... Hi, yes. Hello, sir. There are doors on either side here that are meant to be shortcuts for other areas. And here we have a grand hallway of sorts, with a lot of people just milling about, testing out some reflections. You'll notice everybody has a reflection. And I can walk behind statues, in front of statues. This is a big deal. It took a lot of finagling and trickery. You'll notice also that the floor, very subtly, has reflections of the firelight. So these reflections were not done with plugins. This was mathematical trickery. I'm very excited to go over how I did reflections at some point. We have another room in here. Green sitting room. We have some lovely plants here, some hanging baskets. I thought maybe I could make some scary things happen using that. Got another little area up here. There's a lot of Eros and Psyche imagery throughout. And like I said, a lot of these paintings are recreations of famous paintings that I did paint at a smaller scale so that the fidelity of the detail, the recognizability of it would be present. I've got another little office here. A music room. Going in here, we have seems to be a game room. It's got a little bar you can move behind. Everyone just standing around ominously. Don't mind them. And our character is backlit with a subtle glow. Trickery. I think there's a save room down here, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. Another bathroom. Up here, we have a back patio entrance. This leads to the outside maps. We'll get back to that. Over here, we have a connection hallway. Another save room. This leads back out into our main entrance. So that's what's through this door. Up here, we have a staircase. And in this door, that leads to our patio area that we'll be exploring later. Here we have what's supposed to be a servant's quarters type area. And you'll notice we have walls, and you can move behind them and in front of them. That took some trickery with the collision maps. Through here, that leads to that area. So now we know where that goes. Also, yeah, the shadow people. Don't mind the shadow people. They are here for me to test scale for potential characters. I was thinking about maybe making some monster people, and I wanted to see if they would work in this particular, with this, with the math that I have. And they seem to be working perfectly fine. Sewing room. Another servant's area. Lovely little studio apartment of sorts. I love this room, actually. I would live there. Cozy. What's up through here? We have another connecting hallway. Let's go through here. So this leads to an elevator room. Let's go to the basement. We will explore the basement in more depth eventually, but first I wanted to show this. The stairs lead to what appears to be a hatch door in the ceiling. Unfortunately, something seems to be blocking it from the other side. Oh no. We're trapped. Or are we? First floor. Let's go back here. I just want to unlock this for my own sake in case I need it. There's something under the rug. Let's move it. There we go. We've got our little shortcut unlocked now. Let's get back on track. Going through here. This leads to a kitchen. Here's someone approaching. This was another test for the Mush audio engine for the directional sound. And here we have a pantry. Honestly, I love what the Mush audio engine is capable of. There are some... I've had some difficulty with it. I've had to be clever about how I use it. But overall, it's fantastic for adding atmosphere and just, it's perfect for making a horror game. I love it. So we have this room here. Another save point. So for the stairway, this is actually a shortcut back up to the second floor. I don't actually remember how much I have explored here as of yet. Did we look at everything here? We have this green bedroom. Probably my favorite bedroom. I love it. It's classy. Alright, enough of that. Let's get out of here. Some more assets. Stairway. And in here we have a beautiful little green office. with jars for potential puzzle items. And then we have the blue bedroom, which has its own save point. Through here, we have the back entrance for the library. So you can move through these bookshelves. So we have some bookshelves over here. I was planning on maybe having people hiding in these, or items you could find. And don't mind the summoning circle. It's fine. It's fine. This is actually the symbol for Raphael, the Archangel Raphael specifically. So it was meant to be a bit of a red herring. More library items. In here we have an office. Another office, but this one's more magical, a touch more like dark whimsy, I guess. I do love this though. Just to give it a sense of scale. It's a big skylight type area. Let's keep going. And that leads back out here. And if we go back up through here into the red room, this has this connecting hallway. And that leads us back to our elevator. Hooray! I honestly am having trouble remembering which rooms I have or have not explored yet. Yes. Yes, my darling. Stairway, yes, we've been here. Down there leads to the basement. We'll get there. We'll get there. Here we have a large dining room. And it's the base of that beautiful tree we saw earlier. Very big area. Big, beautiful area. That leads outside. We'll get there. We'll get there, we'll get there. And this leads back out here. And down here... Down here we have what should lead to the front entrance. We have this beautiful little sitting room over here. And another lovely little sitting room. Out here, we have the front entrance. Oh, but we cannot leave. But there's a car. Oh no. That's how we could escape. Well, not much else to do here. So let's go back inside. Back up here. Let's go back to that back patio from earlier. I think that was up here. This way. Oh, we have this lovely little garden. Let's go this way first. We have a hedge maze that's ridiculously easy to solve. There's kind of no wrong way to do it. But it leads to this rather ominous forest. The forest in and of itself is a maze. It has these bright flowers distributed through it, but they're a little hard to see unless you get up close. Possibly for finding items, or puzzle of sorts, having to find something that is buried. This maze is, I wanted it to feel organic. I wanted this area to feel very much like an overgrown, wild place. And it is deeply frustrating to navigate. By design, it's meant to be one of the final areas that you will access. And it is kind of the culmination of several plot points, etc. For my own purposes, I have created a shortcut, which I'll be using later, but it won't be there in the final game. We also have some very subtle parallax mapping with the water, the little pond there. Have a big old tree. If we come up here, we have some parallax mapping for the water and a waterfall. I was told that if you have a waterfall, there's always got to be something behind it, so this area is accessible. Let's go back down this way. This lets us go here. We have this strange statue in the middle of the woods. Wonder what that's about. Who knows? Coming down here. I was told this maze wasn't hard enough the first time I designed it. So you can thank my partner for how frustrating this area is to navigate. If you find it frustrating. I find it frustrating and I designed the damn thing. I shouldn't swear. Let's keep going. I'm gonna use that shortcut I made. Let's go out this way. Get the heck out of here. Okay, we're out of the woods. But technically, we're not out of the woods yet. If you know what I mean. That was a stupid joke. Let's go. So we have yet another maze. This one's a little trickier than the last, but nothing too terrible. And then we're here in this maze. So there is a trick to solving this maze. If you go in any direction other than this one, you will hit a dead end, inevitably. So you have to go up and around here. Down this way. I think it's up. Is this it? Yes, it is. And here's our exit. Hooray! Which leads back out here. And that unlocks that. So now we have a shortcut. Heck yeah. But where else can we go? There's another outdoor entrance. So let's go outside. We have another beautiful garden area. Got two ways we can go. Let's go down for right now. If you come down this way, there's more mysterious statues. What's over here? It's the front lawn again. So that also unlocks a shortcut. Nothing much down here, just more fence. Possibly items. People. Places to be. Let's go back up here. These maps are all so big. Let's see what's up this path. Dark, mysterious. Can't go any further, the woods are too thick, so we're gonna go through here. And now we are in the basement. Let's explore the basement. We have the furnace, electrical stuff. If you go up these stairs, that leads here, if you recognize it. In here we have the roots of that tree that we saw earlier. Down in here we have a wine cellar of sorts, and if we continue, the basement just gets bigger. So we have an unfinished area. My little dude here blocks off unfinished areas. That's right, there's gonna be even more rooms. This one should have also had a shadow person, but it does not currently. Huh. Well, this is interesting. We'll come back to this. Here we have, what? Some kind of underground garage and an elevator of sorts. Could this be a potential way out? Who knows? What an ominous hallway and an ominous painting room with a single painting in it. Oh, that leads to the elevator. Excellent. Here we have our shortcut that we unlocked. And we have our guy here. This room, we'll get there. We'll get to that. That's technically a shortcut for me. For something else, which I'm going to show you right now. Actually, wait, before I do that, I believe down here? Yes, there's another shortcut, which leads up here. So many ways to get in and out of the basement. Alright. Let's finally do this. So this needs to be done in a very particular order. If you try to interact with these things before their time, it won't yield any results. Whoops. So let's do it in the correct order. So even now, can't interact with anything other than the correct thing. So you would have been expected to find items, keys, etc. to access this room. All right. How interesting. We have the shape of a man or something in the floor here, in the center of some kind of summoning circle. We have a big pile of what looks to be meat viscera. Looks like it's been dragged, all coming back to this central figure. Is there anything over here? No, not really. We have this It is a monolithic statue that depicts something unnatural. So, this circle here is the symbol for Asmodeus, also known as Ashmedai, etc. And this is an illustration that I did that's a depiction of the more classical interpretation with the ram head, bull head, cockatrice legs, like chicken. He's got chicken legs, and he's riding a dragon. I kind of like the illustration. I think I did a pretty decent job on it. It's hard to make something this silly in concept, I think, look intimidating, and I think I did a good job. This leads to our little shortcut up here, back into the main area of the basement. And is there anything else that I am missing? I don't think so. I think that's the last area that is complete at this time. So yes, that is the game portion of this. I'm going to go into the inner workings. Oh, right. This door, if you're wondering where this leads to the dining room area. So let's stop here, and I'm going to show you the nuts and bolts, so to speak. So over here, each of these rooms are labeled based on the floor that they're on, the general area, and then they have a letter designation. This helps me organize what I'm using for the parallax mapping. So if we go in here and we edit this, you'll note that in the Notes tab, there are layers here. This was from this allows me to use the Galv Layer Graphics plugin. I have loved all of the Galv plugins that I've used so far. They haven't given me any trouble. So I have Galv character animations, character frames, diagonal movement, layer graphics. I haven't really used the message timer yet or anything like that. So the character animations allows me to do running animations, idling animations, etc. Even jump animations, but I haven't made that for these characters yet. Character frames allows me to use more than the standard 3 frames, so I'm using 8 frames for my animations currently. Diagonal movement, exactly what it says on the tin. And the other big plugin that I've been talking about is the Mush Audio Engine, which allows me to do directional sound. Love it. The disable event start allows it keeps everything from idling and all the animations from going when in a dialogue, is mainly what I'm using it for. Also, Visual Stella, core engine. Everybody got to use the Visual Stella. So, let's see. You're probably wondering what all of this nonsense is. So, in my actual, let's go in here. Tile sets. My tile sets are all transparent, and these arrows allow me to figure out where the collision is going to be. Also, you'll notice that some of them are different colors. That is because I have assigned each of those colors to a terrain tag that allows me to create different sounds for footsteps. Actually, is that a plugin? Yes, footstep sound, which is Angry Maximus. So when the character steps on carpet over here, it makes a softer footstep sound. When they step on tile, it makes a harder sound. And when they step on a wooden plank, it makes a more thumping kind of, where do I got wood? There we go. Like a louder kind of thump. And then there's dirt for outdoors. So all of the maps kind of look like that, except for these maps. And that's because these ones are the ones that are using the in-engine parallax mapping. So all the layers are going to show up when the game runs, but the background is technically just this parallax. And I've set the collision to collision invisible. If I have the actual collision on, this is what the collision looks like. But I set it to invisible so that it doesn't show up in the background behind the windows when you're running around. So that's how the map system works. Now, as for the sprites, let's go in here. I'm going to look into characters in my image folder. And so my player sprite, let me show you the player sprite first so you have an idea of... Where are they? There they are. So this is what the player sprite looks like. We have idling animation, walking animation, running animation. 8 frames per section. And for the reflections, let's do this. So this is the hall reflection. That's a perfectly opaque reflection. So that allows them to pass in front of statues, in front of objects, in front of other people with their reflection looking like it's in the correct place and nothing clipping through the reflection. As for the church area, you have a dark, opaque reflection. And I think that even when the character steps into the bright light, the fact that the reflection is still dark, like it has that shadowy quality to it, I think does add to it. It feels good. And all of the other characters that I have that are running around also have their own reflection sprites. And if we go and look at one of those areas, so all I did to make those sprites work, basically they're just double the size of a regular sprite. And so the collision mapping, just everything is moved down by 4. So everything is kind of doubled in a way. So normally the collision for the wall would be up here, but because the character is twice as tall, I have it moved down roughly by the size of what the reflection is. That sounds very confusing, but it's intuitive once you do it. So when the character is moving this way, their reflection is technically disappearing behind this wall, but they themselves, the midpoint of the sprite seems to interact with and hit areas exactly where they need to go. That's another important thing, is that when you make those sprites, the middle of the sprite is where the feet should be hitting the floor, where the feet are meeting the reflection. So yeah, interaction areas, etc., all of that. Everything is just moved down by 3. And then they are switched back. I have a passive... What is it under? Common events. Yeah, I have a passive common event that a kind of auto event that will change the player's sprite based on the area that they're in. So if it's an area that needs a particular reflection, it'll change it to that reflection upon entering. This is also how I did the backlit sprite. If we go back in here, I shouldn't have closed out of that. No! There we go. Okay. Go back in here. Images, characters, the players. Where are you? Player. Player shadow. There we go. the player has a backlit shadow sprite. All of the various actors have backlit sprites. Am I in the correct? I am not in the correct. That's a old backup. There we go. Here's all our beans. So this guy has shadows, and this is his main sprite. And oh, I'm silly. The way that the parallax mapping works. We go into, actually it might be better if I open up this. Let's go into working. Our maps. Let's open up just one of our standard maps. So layer 5 is everything that's on top of the player. So I have the border, the room edge, the shadows, all of that are on layer 5. And then our other layers, so we have our background layer here, that's the floor, all of our stuff, and then layer 3 is the one that the player can pass behind, but it's not necessarily on our top layer here, so the shadows are still over the top of it. And all of the maps are constructed that way. There's also lots of art that didn't show up in the game, so I have bust art. Where are you? Bust work, there we go. I am still testing what I want the final busts to look like. So let's see. So the main player was possibly going to look like this. I have all sorts of busts here. I completed a different guy. Where is he? So there's this guy also. You probably saw him at various points in time, places in the manor. And my girl here, the maid. I have some of hers complete, but not all of them. Haven't completed the other ones yet. I also have some monster concepts that I was working on. So that should be, no, we're not saving. That should be everything up to this point. Hopefully that's a thorough explanation of the entire process, the implementation, and I guess comment down below if you have any questions, but otherwise, that is it for the demo. Thank you for stopping by. Have a lovely day. And we're done. Stop.